Hey everyone, it's Brick Waffle here, and today I am back on the WaffleMods server. I was briefly a scorpion. I love that my hat shows up slightly before I do. I think that's great. But we've got a few villagers here today. So in the last episode, we did a lot of work. We got a lot of things kind of taken care of so that we don't have to worry about some of our resources for a while. Over the last several episodes, we've set up some tree farms. We've got our cows and our sheep going. We brought back some villagers with our lassos today. Actually, in between episodes, I should say. And we've got a couple guys. These aren't great, but this one is offering dino steak. So between the last episode and this one, I've done some tweaks to the mod pack, and this is in anticipation of hopefully going with a kind of a semi-final release in another month or two. But what we've done is we've changed up the mod list a little bit. We've removed a few things that weren't really working for some of the folks that were testing it in multiplayer. They just weren't being used, and a couple of things that had a lot of things that nobody was using, but one or two things that people liked. And I'll show you what that list looks like here. So if I go to item subsets and mods, you can see that buildcraft is missing. We took out buildcraft because a lot of people liked the quarry, but that was the only thing they really used. And there are other quarries available. The ender quarry is a lot less laggy than that quarry. But I'll get to another thing in a minute here that will help with that as well. You can see we've added computer craft and deco craft. So computer craft adds, computers, and you can use this to do some kind of automation. If you're a little bit familiar with programming, you can do a lot with that. There's also deco craft, which adds tons and tons and tons of decorative things that we can make. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in this episode. If we go down here, we also removed Thaumcraft. So Thaumcraft was one of those things that some people really, really like, but nobody in our server and the Block Farmers was really using it. If you've downloaded this pack and you're playing on your own, don't worry, nothing's changed yet. When we come out, you will have the option of upgrading, removing things. If you want to add Thaumcraft back and you're playing on your own, feel free. It shouldn't cause any conflicts. But we did also add two things, progressive automation and quantum flux. Now, progressive automation is going to be our solution for early game quarries. It adds some coal-powered machines that do some very basic mining for you, very easy to do automation that you can use really early on. And then quantum flux adds some early power generation. It's powered by the void. So this is, once you get it built up, it's basically power for nothing, and you can transfer it over long distances. It's a replacement for tesseracts, things like that. Now, we do still have tesseracts in the pack. We still have big reactors. This is another way to do early power, if you like. And we've also added magical crops. So magical crops will be yet another way to get stuff early on. If you want to just go farming, you can get all sorts of things. We're going to get into a little bit of that today, potentially, as well. So in our last episode, we talked about doing some mechanism stuff in the future, and we do have our osmium compressor and our metallurgic infuser, and in between episodes, I have made a fair amount of the, there we go, 128, 2 stacks of enriched alloys, and 1 stack of the basic control circuits, and I think that's really all we've done so far. So we're going to get into that too, because one of the things we need to do for DecoCraft, the only thing you can build in a crafting table is the deco bench, and it looks a little strange here with the outline, but once you've placed it down, you have to give it clay, up to 6,000 clay, and then red, green, and blue dye, and up to 2,000 of each of those. So 6,000 clay is a lot of going around in rivers and shallow oceans and breaking things. So I looked to see what other ways we could make clay in this pack. And of course Mechanism, whoops, if I could type clay, Mechanism has a way to manufacture clay. If we look at this chemical injection chamber, we inject water vapor into dirt, and we get clay. And it takes a little bit of power, but it's not too bad. It doesn't actually say how much it takes, but I can't imagine it's that much to just push steam into here. So in order to get water vapor, we need to get a couple of things going. We need a rotary condensator and a source of water. So here we've got some of this stuff already. We just need that middle row. So a portable tank, that's not too bad. There's one of those. And energy tablet, not too bad. There's one of those. And a gas tank, not too bad. There's one of those as well. So now we should be able to make our rotary condensator, and we're done. So we can see out here that we've got infinite water coming in from a transfer node and an ender tank with water in it. And we were using that in a couple of other places. We're not using that out here anywhere, I don't think. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the basement, and we've added one more little bit of room. So remember this room, the AE network. You remember the nuclear reactor. And then down here, what we've done, this is actually the hallway that we have out to the little mob farm and the mining cave we did when we first started. But I put in some hex blocks. These are all just things from chisel. So hex plating and factory block covers. And you can see there's RF coming behind that because we've got our cables run down through the wall here. One of these things is actually a cable. I don't remember where it goes. But that's it. We get power down on every single one of these walls. Yeah, it's coming in somewhere from here. Maybe there's actually a tesseract. I don't remember where I put this stuff. There it is. That one. So that's actually covers. You can see the cable comes down from the reactor upstairs and comes down in here. So we should be able to hook up all of our mechanism devices in this room, and we're going to start with the rotary condensator, just like that. So there we go. We've got power. It's full, and you can see liquids go on this side and gases go on this side. So we're going to need to grab our ender tank, and let's see if we have another one of those in the network already. Ender, we do not. So we might have to grab or craft one of those, and then we're also going to need a place to take this gas out and then put it into the clay making machine. So that's going to be in, oops, let's go back, the chemical injection chamber. Where is that one? Chemical washer dissolution. There it is, injection chamber. So we're going to need to make one of these as well, and that's a reinforced alloy, which is enriched alloy with diamond. And what was the other piece of that? Elite control circuits, which is more of those reinforced alloys, and advanced, which is more of those in the enriched alloys. So we've got a little bit of crafting to do to get us going into some automated clay. Okay, so we'll need to come down to our mechanism room. So we're going to need water vapor to go into that, and we should be able to do that from the inside. If we do this as normally output, but we can make this an input, and yeah, we should be all right. Eject off. We're going to eject on. So that will automatically eject items out of the top. And we're going to put an input on the left side for the dirt and an input on the right side for the gas there. That should work out just fine. So we're going to need some cabling. We're going to need some kind of mechanism gas duct or maybe even Ender IO conduit. We're also going to need that Ender tank and a source of dirt. We'll get the dirt from the ME network. We can tap off to a chest. We can just grab a bunch of stacks and turn it in as we need it, which will probably be the easiest thing to do. So for that, we'll need a chest. Let's see, we got a bunch of gold chests here. Oops. And let's see what kind of ducting we have. Do we have some item ducts? Fluctuating item ducts. That actually transfers power too. We've got one. That's fine. We'll use that. Do we have anything that uses... I don't see anything that uses gas. So let's maybe make some mechanism gas conduit. Can we make... Oh, that's Ender IO gas conduit. Where is... Oh, that's because it's called something different. Well, we might be able to make that. Do we have any of the materials? We're missing one electrical steel. Basic pressurized tube. That looks like that's pretty easy to do. And do we need that to make the advanced? We do. All right, so let's make a basic pressurized. There it is. And then we need that to make the advanced pressurized. There we go. Okay, so that should be sufficient for that. We'll need some dirt. Got 17,000 dirt. I think we're going to be okay on that for a while. And then we need to make the Ender tank as well. And we are missing a cauldron. Oh, that's easy. Okay, there's our Ender tank. And do we have... I think it's just blue dyes. We got some lapis as well. Great. I'll throw this dirt in here for now. We'll come back to that. Alright, so on this side, we want to put some of our Ender tank down here. That one's got lava in it until we coat it to be the blue coat. I think it's just... Is it blue? Is all three blue? All three blue. Perfect. And then if we turn that around, it should pump into here. But it's not. I think maybe we can't pump it directly in there without some piping. Okay, so we'll work on that in just a second. This is going to need a chest. Whoop, yeah, let's throw the chest down on the ground. Chest here. And our item duct, and that's going to need a servo anyway. And let's go ahead and throw some dirt in there. So we don't need any more lapis. Do we have any more servos? We do. Excellent. So let's throw that on there and say it's disabled. Just going to throw dirt into this thing. Input dark red. Why is that now? Okay, there it is. Now it's got dirt. Oh, but dirt needs to go in the bottom? It does need to go in the bottom. So that needs to be extra purple. Let's take that out and see if it goes in there on its own now. It, does not seem to want to do that. So we should need to be able to connect some water up. That's all right, we'll get there in a second. We'll hook up this gas pipe, and once this is producing things, we should be all right. So let's go ahead and break that guy. We'll put him up here, and then we will be able to get some fluid duct. That's power. Do we have any fluid duct? Temperate fluid duct actually will work here. It doesn't have to be very fast. It doesn't need to put a lot in there, I don't think. But that's also going to need a servo, isn't it? Do we have any more? These are basic tier stuff. Let's see how this works. That's got water in the pipe. It's not going into the rotary condensator. Decondensating. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting water, and it's turning into water vapor, and that's going into this thing. And then we need to inject that. What's the recipe here? There's a lot of these. There we go. Okay, clay is on top. Perfect. All right, so let's put this back. Sorry about that noise. Let's put this back on red, so that should start putting dirt in the top. There we go. And now this is taking power and making clay out of dirt. So let's see how much of this is doing. One of those. Okay, so it's not fast, but it's working, and it's going to be steady. And then we just need a way to take this out of here. We'd figured output would be dark blue. That's the top. So we just need to see if we have another ender chest, and I think we do. We have a couple of those in here. So if we throw one of these on top, I don't think this will put right into a chest. It will. Great. Excellent. So now we're getting clay into the network basically for nothing. We've got plenty of infinite water. We've got loads and loads and loads of dirt, which we can actually get some more of here. Let's just fill our inventory with dirt. Oops, there we go. Keep going, keep going. And all of that can go into the chest. Whoops, or it can throw on the ground. There we go. That's going to make us, 5 stacks of clay over time. One thing we probably want to do is make some speed upgrades and some energy upgrades. Yeah, so we'll look at that as well. But for now, this is going to be good. We're going to get some clay. We can check our network here and see clay. We've got 6 there. We'll get a 7th one in a little bit. And we can actually make a bunch out of these clay balls as well. So that's going to help us with deco craft. Okay, so as I mentioned, there's one other piece that we need for that, which is dyes. We need red, green, and blue dyes. So I don't want to put a lot of lapis in here. I don't want to keep growing and cooking cactus, although that's going to be pretty easy to do. And a flower farm's not terrible. But if you look in our network right now, we don't really have that much in the way of dye. We do have some cactus green, and we do have some lapis. We have 1 rose red. And if we look at the ways we can make rose red, now with magic crops, we can actually use essence of dye to make rose red. We also have poppies and tulips and that sort of thing. And we might have some flowers in our network. We can look at poppies. Nope. Red. We've got some Botania Craft mystical red flowers, but those turn into mystical red petals, and I think we need a mortar and pestle to turn that into dyes. So that'll get us started at least. So where's that? Botania, pestle, and mortar. We're out of bowls. Are we out of... No, that's not right. Paleograph planks. Okay, so it doesn't... Those are different. Regular bowls there. Pestle and mortar. And if we turn that with the red flowers, there we go. Now we've got 24 red flower dye. Now the question is, will DecoCraft recognize that that's a valid dye? Oops, blue. And if it does, we can use our mystical blue flowers. Let's go check that real quick and see if that works, or if it has to be a vanilla dye. So green. Oop, not there. Is that? How do we put it in here? Drop resources there. Okay, it says drop them. Add to table. There we go. Little green dye and little red dye. Great, it works with both of those, which means we can do the same thing with the blue flowers, and that will help us for the short term. Now we can't, obviously these aren't really that renewable either. And where's our mortar and pestle? But they're certainly more renewable than, or they're more renewable than lapis, but they're not necessarily automatable. Pop up here again. Drop that stuff in there. Add to table, and let's see how much clay we have. So we're already up to 20 clay on that machine. We won't even need the speed upgrade. So let's see, a little bit of clay, and now we can see all these things that are opened up for us. So we can make things like paper airplanes and spinning wheels and Rubik's cubes and R2D2, for example. There we go. Here's an R2D2. Let's throw him over here by the DecoCraft table. Little decorative guy, doesn't really do anything. It's just decorative, hence DecoCraft. So we can do a lot with this. We're going to play with that in a future mod. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to give us a lot of utility. Alright, so we also have the emote mod in here, and if we look at the emote list, you can see that those are there, and we can actually click on these, I believe, to just start doing the emotes. That's really cool. So we can also do this when we're happy. We can cheer about things. When we meet other people when we're getting on the multiplayer server later on, we can wave at them. So lots of different things like that. Other people will see those as well. We can salute when people come by, or it looks like kind of stab ourselves in the eye with our thumb. But there's a lot of different options we can do. And you don't have to just click the list. You can also just do emote, I think point. Yeah, so when we're out in the world, if we want to point at people and wave, we can do that. Pretty easy to do. Neat little thing, and I like that quite a bit. So we've got some of this solved, but the other thing we're going to want to do is if we want to get those dyes on a kind of regular basis, we're going to need to get some magical crops. And we'll need magical essences to do that. And once we have those crops, we should be able to plant them out here with our Ender farming station. So we'll be able to use that to plant and grow our crops. It's a sneaky dragonfly in there. And then we'll be able to farm up all the dye we want, and that'll give us lots of options for deco craft. So that's something else we're going to do at some point. We need to get more resources. And it looks like our villagers are not very smart. Hey guy, get out of there. Get out of there. Don't do that. Okay, well that takes a while to kill him. But we don't need these either because we have about 8,000 ender pearls in our network right now. And there's one staircase. Where did the other stair go? Did it break on the plant? Oh, I bet it does. Let me throw something I don't care about. I got one more of those seeds. No, it shouldn't have broken. That's very strange. Now we did check. I have my old bag. I replaced that. I actually got rid of the collection upgrade. But that is unfortunate that we somehow lost the stairs. Do we have any more of those? We do. Look at that. So that's going to be very helpful. That's going to be very helpful to just go ahead and replace that. I don't know what happened there. Let's go take out all these ender lilies. We don't need those at all anymore. Throw those back in the network. And do we have any more podzol? No. Can we craft any more podzol? Oh, I can't craft from this thing, but it's just dirt and spruce leaves. We can get some regular dirt from this for now, and that's fine if there's a strip of grass over here. Or actually, it'll just be dirt, won't it? So one thing we can do in the future is we can tweak this, the way this looks with the different dirt and topiary grass and whatnot. Oh, and I didn't even notice I went in upside down. I bet some of you were trying to point that out. Oh, hello, villager. I did not want to trade with you right now. Can you... Okay. Yeah, okay, good. Get out. Get those out of the way. Put this stone brick stair back down facing the right way. And then let's throw this extra stuff in the network. Great. So that way the villagers won't kill themselves on the ender lily seeds. We need to go mining. And we can do that in a couple of different ways. When I did the mod changes on this world, I went ahead and deleted the mining world and reset it. So we don't have our Enderman farm anymore, but we do have the ability to go mining and get new resources like essence ores and things like that. So you can see that some of the Botania flowers are spreading out here now. They weren't before until we went away a little while. Nothing's spawning, which is good. Shouldn't be spawning. But we also could go regular caving in here if we wanted to. We can see that we've got mechanism salt blocks. We shouldn't have any more IC2 ores either. And these are clustered a little bit more than they usually are. So we could go digging around down here, see if we can find anything, or we can set up one of our quarries, including the new things from Progressive Automation. So I think we're going to try that out, see how that works, and show off that mod as well. Now, one of the things that we might find is fossils, and that's because we also have the Fossils in Archaeology Revisited, Revised, Revival, one of those. And that allows us to get different kinds of ores and fossils, and eventually we might even be able to breed and raise dinosaurs. So that's going to be kind of neat as well. And that's what that trader was out here earlier, the village trader that had dino meat. So apparently he knows how to get dinosaurs already. We haven't made any yet, but apparently he's got a good lead on those. So let's take a quick peek at our network and see about the miner. And we've got stone miners, iron miners, diamond miners, and these all require the previous tier. So you can see this one should be pretty straightforward. We need, what is that, a chest and a pick? Yeah, chest and a pick. That's pretty easy to do. There's a chest. And let's see, there is a pick. And we can make the wooden miner. Put that in there. We can use that to make the stone miner. And of course, we don't have the stone pick either. That one. Yep, there we go, stone pick. That'll give us the stone miner. Put that in there, make that around iron and an iron block and an iron pick. Do we have any of that? Nope. Oh. So obviously we can make a block of iron, and we can make an iron pick, and then we can make the iron miner, and then we can do the diamond, which is the same thing. Obviously we need a diamond pick. I'm pretty sure we don't have one of those sitting around. And diamond miner. The downside is now we need another diamond pick to put in it, But that's alright too, we can do that for a while. So we've got 12 levels. We should be able to throw something on this pick and see if we can get anything good. Whoop. Let's go up to blue one. What can we put in here? Efficiency? No, that's going to be not good. Unbreaking is probably our best bet. Let's get 2. Unbreaking 2. That'll make it just last longer in the machine. And that takes all of our levels. So what we need is a source of cobble for this thing. And I'll just go ahead and put it down right here to show you what happens. You need to put cobble in this for it to fill the holes, unless you use some upgrades where it just makes big gaps in the terrain. You need a shovel in here for the dirt levels as well, and then you need coal. So this doesn't use RF, it actually uses regular coal or charcoal, any kind of burnable fuel. You can even use lava buckets, I believe. And then you can make some upgrades for it. So we can look at the filler upgrade, makes the miner fill in any air and fluid blocks while mining. Okay, well, that's nice. We don't really care because that's what we have the quarry world for. If we look at upgrades here, you can see that we have the wooden upgrades and then all the way up to diamond upgrades somewhere with their upgrades. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And this just makes the range a little bit better. And this requires 2 ore for each. And that requires an iron upgrade, and each of those requires a stone upgrade, each of those requires a wooden upgrade. You can see how that's going to go again. So we'll break that for now. I want to put it down with basic tools that I have here, so let's just throw an iron shovel in it. Can I throw an iron shovel in it, or does it have to be diamond? Okay, good, it'll take a lower tier. Whoops, and there's the ceiling of our AE room. So we'll probably burn through that shovel pretty quickly. Let's see how much coal we have as well. Oh, plenty of coal. And then we're going to need some cobblestone. And there's a couple of ways you can get this in here. We've got plenty of cobblestone in our network, and we're generating it pretty quickly. So we're just going to throw a bunch of that in here to get it started. Then we'll probably set up one of those adjustable chests with the cobble gen. Actually, we've got one of these already. So let's throw all that back. Well, throw it on the ground. That's what I said. On the ground. And we'll need a couple of buckets. Do we have any lava buckets? We don't. But we do have a couple. Well, there's a water bucket. And we can get a regular bucket here. And I think we did have a lava drum, didn't we? 5 lava drums for some reason. That's odd. Okay, so let's throw one of those down. And we will put down a bucket. There we go. And get that guy back. Put all those back in the network. Now we should be able to make our cobble generator upgrade. Oops, cobble gen. And we don't have any of the basic filters. Any of the basic filters made. And we don't have any iron bars made. So this is going to... The usual thing, it's like anything with modded especially. You have to make the parts to make the parts to make the parts. There's 8 of those. Good for a while. And there's a cobble gen upgrade. And we'll need some kind of filter and a transfer node of some variety. So that's a transfer node for items. And what do we need for filter? It has to be one of the ones that's supportable by extra utilities. This one. So I think we can make one of those. Great. And then we'll just say only cobble can go into the diamond miner from there. And we'll need also a chest to put on top of here. And if we have that other ender chest, we can get that right back on the network as well. Okay, so let's take a quick peek. We'll go into the mining world and put this down and see how things go. We need to get a chunk loader as well at some point. Let's just walk over here to the side. Since this is going to replace everything with cobble, it should be safe to put right here even. And then we're going to need to put the adjustable chest down somewhere here. Need to put the cobble gen upgrade on it. Put those 2 things there. Great, we're getting some cobblestone. Now we need to set this filter to be only cobblestone. And then we need to put this thing on here with the filter in it. And there we go. Oops. It did put that lava bucket in there. I don't want it to, though. Don't want it to actually do that. Thankfully, it didn't start burning because it didn't have the other tools yet. So now it'll start putting cobble into this chest that we can use, pickaxe and shovel, and here we go. It's range 1, so what it's doing is it's going straight down under this and pulling stuff out from a direct path, a direct line down. What we need to do to make this better is get a range upgrade on it. So if we put an ender chest here, you can see it'll suck all those items into the ender chest. They'll start going in the network. We should be perfectly fine with that. And any excess cobble that fills this up and goes over here will just go back into our network as well. So then we have to make a couple of upgrades. I'll do that, and I will be right back with you guys. Okay, so we've got our mining upgrades here. We can drop all of those in there. You can see that the range is 16, and you can see it's starting to put cobblestone in further places. So this is going to start spreading out. You'll be able to see, I don't know if we can really see it down here. Let's try this. You can see it's going straight down, basically, and checking around. You can see wherever it's gone in a column, you'll be able to see that cobblestone. And then here, I'm going to put that back because I actually want that, if it digs out, to replace that with cobble. And come back up here as well. So this is working pretty well for us. Throw that extra dirt in there. And we'll throw the chunk loader here. The nice thing is, because it only goes underneath this miner, we really don't have to worry about what it's doing as far as if it's going to destroy the items we've made. With the Buildcraft Quarry, you could actually have that happen. It could break things. So let's see, we turn on our chunk lines. You can see that we're kind of right in the middle of a chunk here, and I probably should have thought about that earlier. But we'll just go ahead and throw this down right there. We'll say 2 chunks, that's fine, should be no problem at all. And really our only problem now is the fuel that it's using. So with 64 coal times 8, that's going to be quite a bit, but if we threw a lava bucket in there, it would be 1,000. So that might be something else to do in the future. Or we could use blocks of coal, and those burn for quite a bit longer as well. Blaze rods also burn for a while. So this is an easy way to get automation fairly early on. Obviously diamond wouldn't be the first thing you would do, but like I said, it does work. You can kind of see what's coming through here. A lot of cobble is going to go through, but you can see Cacertus quartz going through, dirt going through, lots and lots of cobbles going through, because it will break regular stone and make that cobble. And if you don't have a cobble generator feeding into that, it will use cobble that it breaks to store up and then fill in the gaps. So really, if you wanted to, you could just use that with cedar cobble, and it would be able to take off on its own once it reached a certain point. Now the other nice thing is, with that upgrade and that extra cobble gen, any excess we have is going into the network anyway, so we're just getting even more cobble even faster, and I'm really not worried about that. We're going to have loads and loads of that. Alright, so hopefully what we'll get out of this, and that's the reason I built this in the first place, is some essence, and it doesn't look like we have any of that yet, but you can see this essence dust from magical crops. You can craft it with something that doesn't exist yet, but the uses for this are, with the weak infusion stone, you can make weak essences. These you can use to make regular essences, and so on and so forth, all the way up to tier. But you can also use that to make the different kinds of things like, where is the dyes? There we go, essence of dye. Essence of dye you can put around a shard to make a regular infusion stone, but you can use this to make different dyes. So you can see we can make our red dye this way, we can make green dye this way, blue dye, all that good stuff. And that we just need to get essence seeds to make in the first place. So once we get enough of those from mining, we'll be able to get started on that. We'll probably do that in a later episode. And then once we have that automation in place, we'll really be able to fill this thing up. We'll be able to load up a lot of clay, we'll be able to load up all the different dyes, and make lots and lots of decorations to make this place look a lot cooler. So I think that's going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really enjoyed it, then please subscribe. As always, I've been Brick Waffle. Thank you for watching.